After passing over Jamaica and Cuba, you see the satellite here. Hurricane Sandy now has its sights on the U.S.
That's right, and Sandy has the potential to make a major impact along the East Coast for anywhere from the Carolinas all the way through New England, in fact, starting this weekend into early next week.
Yeah, the Weather Channel's Jim Cantore has more from Palm Beach Shores, Florida.
Hurricane Sandy continues to unleash its power on the Bahamas, but we're getting the outer fringes of that here on the southeast coast of Florida. We continue to watch these waves roll in, some of them as high as 4 or 5 feet, and the winds have been gusting 40, 50 miles per hour with a constant horizontal rain. So we're in this now, and this weather is expected to be with us all day tomorrow and even into parts of Saturday morning before things finally pull away. Officials have closed down schools. Obviously, they don't want anybody in the water here. Very worried in the city of Jacksonville about the Georgia-Florida football game, which will go on Saturday. They're asking tailgaters and folks attending that game to really, make sure that they use their best judgment. They don't go in the water. They don't bring out a lot of loose things like umbrellas and tarps and things like that that'll be blowing around, because when you talk about 100,000 people out tailgating and out and that sort of thing, we could certainly get into trouble in a big hurry. So that is obviously a huge concern. From there, that is where potentially the bigger concern lies as we watch a storm that we've never seen on the modern meteorology maps potentially unfold for the Northeast. Details on that are uncertain, but a high-impact, multi-million-dollar event could be in the making. Reporting from Singer Island, Florida, I'm Jim Cantore. Back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you. Okay, we just heard Jim, he said multi-million, and now they're saying maybe billion, but he said a storm like we've never seen or been able to talk about before. What's that mean?
We've never had this much data as far as those computer models we talk about on a storm like this. The last time we had anything close to this was the superstorm in '93 that brought the big heavy snow to the Carolinas into Atlanta and Georgia. It produced, big time waves in Florida, and then the big storm in '91, the perfect storm, which George Clooney was in, a big movie they made about those big waves and stuff. This storm could potentially be stronger than either one of those. Okay. And the fact that we have more data than ever could be a bad thing sometimes, because we're getting so many different opinions of what could happen. But the general consensus is that this storm, as it moves up the East Coast and affects New England, especially New Jersey, New York City, Washington, D.C., Boston, Nantucket, Long Island, that area could really see some pretty significant impacts that could be life-threatening. So we got to really watch this in the next several days. Here is Sandy now. Category 2. Last night it jumped to near a Category 3 before it hit Cuba. That was unexpected. So Sandy has a lot of surprises still ahead. You can see Florida just getting hammered. And it's affecting the Bahamas, too, with heavy rain and affecting cruise lines certainly there. Now, before all that happens, we've got to get through a cold front tomorrow. And here is the futurecast showing the rain moving in from the west. Once the rain starts about mid-afternoon, early mid-afternoon, especially west to east, we're going to see a significant drop in temperature from around 60 in the morning to barely above 50 by the time we get into the games Friday evening. It drops. It's going to just bottom out tomorrow afternoon. So when you go to work in the morning in school, it'll be warmer in the morning than it will be when you come home. And then the showers will continue to very early Saturday morning, but a little bit of drizzle, I think by mid-morning Saturday in the afternoon. We'll try to clear things out, and then Sunday looks partly sunny. So here's Sandy on the models now. Moves up the eastern coastline. Here we go through Sunday morning. Watch what happens, though, as when the Tuesday takes a U-turn and goes straight into New York City. And if you continue on from that, it actually moves even further backwards toward Ohio. And it affects us here in Kentucky with high winds. Nothing as devastating as what the Northeast will see, but gusty winds 30, 40 miles per hour potentially, and maybe some snow showers and snow flurries for Halloween. It's still a chance. We'll keep you updated. 60 for the low tonight. That rain moves in tomorrow. Dry for Sunday and Monday, and then we'll feel the effects, maybe some snow flurries as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday. Chilly temperatures in the upper 40s at best. And here's your 14-day outlook. And you can see how we've got that drop here coming up. And then we try to warm up a little bit as we head into the first weekend of November. Keep in mind that first weekend in November is when we also set our clocks back 1 hour coming up. And then Election Day. Right now it looks like we'll try to warm up a little bit, but I do see another significant blast of cold air about the 10th of November or so. So It's getting wild all of a sudden.
Yeah, when you say we'll get winds and things like that from
Yeah.
this hurricane, I know the first thing I think about is Ike. I'm sorry, I go Ike. No.
It's not a scenario like Ike.
Not.
No, it is not.
Okay.
What they are facing is way worse than what we face with Ike.
Okay.
All right, to
So-
give you a perspective there.
Yeah, and I know everybody's going to have to prepare a little differently for Halloween because it's going to be cold. You're talking about maybe snowing.
I think the time the trick-or-treaters are going to be out and about, it'll be about 42, 43 degrees and maybe a few flurries in the air.
Okay, if you need to plan for that,
So-
my producer Elaine tried to we get everything together for when you trick or treat, what time you trick or treat in your area, and you can find all of that information for your family online on wave3.com.
What are you going to be?
Me eating some candy at the table.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Well,
It is
those
scary.
those who make a difference, those who make